Hello everybody, welcome back to StarCraft 2 action. We have Serral and ZhuGeGiang, Team Finland, in the 2v2 uThermal circuit. uThermal 2v2 circuit. Going up against Replicant Tiger, which we have familiarized ourselves with in the previous cast. This is the quarterfinals. It's a best of 3, single elim, and we have double Zerg on Team Finland. Now, we haven't been seeing a lot of Zergs in the 2v2 circuit as of yet. So, very interested to see what double Zerg is going to pull out. Are we going to see an early pull from one side, or is it just going to be double hatchery first? As of now, it is indeed double hatchery first. This is a pretty tight ramp, so early pull doesn't really force that much. See a little ping in the corner there, might just be planning a little proxy action on the side of the blue team. Whereas Team Finland just gonna macro up. I mean, you have the best 1v1 player of all time, arguably. Now playing in a 2v2 tournament, how is that gonna work out? And what do these guys have planned? Of course, their roads into this quarterfinal. We saw Replicant and Tiger take down uThermal Goblin, and before that, they took down A-Rock Fire and Rom. I don't know the second one, but I've seen A-Rock Fire around. He's a pretty young gun, but he's known, a known entity, as it were. And ZhuGeGiang and Serral took down Machine and Shame 2-1, so a game did get taken. And before that, Greg Wizard. I had to look it up on the second monitor. So, decent route so far, and I think it would be fair to say that this is pretty stark opposition. The roughest they both have faced so far, although I feel like Tiger and Replicant taking down uThermal and Goblin. A little bit unexpected, and Shame and Machine, I haven't seen any of their games just yet, but they have been making waves in these 2v2 tournaments, so I hope to cover them in the future. Don't have replays of them right now. So far, everything has been relatively quiet. We do see a Replicant Reaper in the middle line of Serral. And that's something he probably doesn't get to do on the ladder, but in this 2v2 tournament, suddenly he's playing up against Serral. I'm sure he's not nervous at all. Cool, calm, collected. You see a factory coming out, and a robotics facility as well. Second and third command center on the map. Twilight console coming up. And ZhuGeGiang just going for the gold. He's bold, he goes for gold. And Serral goes for a relatively fast lair here. Starts it before 3 minutes. After speed, probably just kept in gas, got speed, now lair. And we might just be looking at a quick muta build, because we see second gas already. Could be like speed roach, but I'm like feeling the muta. And then roach warren for ZhuGeGiang, yes, that's what I want to say. You get a ground army from one Zerg, and when you get some mutas from the other one. Let's see what happens. 4 gases for Serral, no third base. This looks like 2 base muta, alright. DT chamber has been started here on the side of Tiger. With some gateways to boot. War Prism is going to come out, just being chrono boosted out, so he's going to fly across the map, make some Dark Templar. See what he can get done. ZhuGeGiang does lose an Overlord over there. Do his opponents know about the third base? No, they do not. So that third base still hidden. And we do see the Spire from Serral coming out on the map. Lair for ZhuGeGiang almost done. Wouldn't be surprised to just see roach speed. Kinda do want to see him saturate this gold base. But maybe they feel like they don't have a map control just yet. Queen's trying to protect their mineral lines. Couple Hellions on the map. I mean, double Zerg is pretty scary, because if they both make a lot of Lings, and often will be one guy making a lot of Roach Ravager, the other one just spamming Lings, those Hellions are very pivotal to keeping them alive on the map. 4 Dark Templar are going to run in, maybe snipe this hatchery, but there is already an Overseer. These Dark Templar. Ooh, War Prism flies into the main, gets, of course, immediately spotted by Serral. These DTs will walk into another Overseer and roaches of ZhuGeGiang. the War Prism gets taken down by the Queens as well. Double Queen action. And poor Tiger just gets shut down. And we do see a decent amount of Hellions here. We even see a battlecruiser in the back for Replicant. I wonder if that battlecruiser is also just a little defensive. Because if a Zerg does any type of attack right now, a battlecruiser does pretty well against Zerglings, Ravagers, Roaches. Like, it's not amazing, but it's pretty good. Ooh, nice Hellion run by here. Just get another drone. And we do see Mutas coming out here for Serral. 3 drones have been killed by Replicant and ZhuGeGiang. A little sad about those, but both Zergs on 50-ish drones. An Immortal comes out for Tiger, but the Mutas are out. They're flying across the map here. And there is that one battlecruiser. Battlecruiser can do pretty well against Mutas, but Mutas are that type of unit that you need a response to that. And if both players have to respond to it, it feels pretty rough. And the Mutas do find a couple probies here. More Mutas underway, plus 1 underway for Serral as well. Is he ever going to stop making Mutas? Time will tell, and the Mutas try to fly in. They find some naked Marines, get on top of those Marines, kill them dead. And 0 Mutas have gone down, but a bunch of probes have already gone down. Tiger and Replicant going on the counter-offensive. Bunch of Archons and Hellions now try to run in. Oh no, the Hellions leave these Archons alone. They are lining up, but the Hellions are not interested. They try to flank, but the Mutas are back home trying to defend. You have some Mutas in the back here at the natural trying to kill more probes, whereas there's also some Mutas at home trying to defend. This one battlecruiser is now in the front. This gold base, I feel like ZhuGeGiang hasn't really had an opportunity to mine from there. And wow, the battlecruiser and the Hellions are even clicking down the hatchery. This battlecruiser even teleporting out, so it just slowly made its way across the map. The probes are safe to mine once again in the natural, but the main, not so safe. How many probes have been lost? 24 probes. It's quite a few. Phoenix are being critted now by Tiger, but he seems to be pretty sad. 46 probes, not the best. And oh my god, these Mutas click down the turret, click down all these SCVs. The gold base has to be lifted off. It is not safe no longer. And oh my god, these Mutas just dive on top of the turret with the +1 attack. Take down the turret. No building armor for the Terran right now. And this golden base, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's a little bit of a pipe dream. The Roaches try to fight 2v1. Now the Mutas fight 2v1. Oh, Tiger and Replicant, they took good fights versus Goblin uThermal. Can they do it again? These Phoenix need to be microed pretty well because the Mutas are here. The Mutas get on top of all of the Phoenix. And the Phoenix count has been reduced to just 1 Phoenix left remaining. There's 2 Stargates. But Tiger's just a little bit too poor to really crank out the numbers. And now all of his probes are going to go down. Down to 24 probes and more to fall because 1 Phoenix can't do much. 1 new Phoenix spawns, 2 Phoenix spawn, but they just get taken down by the Mutas once again. Tiger, a little bit of miss micro and loses all of the Phoenix. And they are just going to A-move across the map now. Replicant and Tiger know that Tiger is completely done with this game. He move commands into the natural of Serral, and all of his units just get eaten up by this double Zerg army. We even see some tunneling claws from ZhuGeGiang to try and do some damage. Get some Roach in the 4th base, and now Replicant has to do it, but can't quite do it. The Marines get caught on the other side of the map. The Mutas are cleaning up, and that is a pretty convincing dub from Serral and ZhuGeGiang here in game number 1 on Undercurrent. They take down Replicant Tiger. And that looked pretty convincing, honestly. Replicant Tiger doing kind of a weak build in game number 1. Going for like a very committed Dark Templar drop, which just got shut down by the early lair play from Serral. Even ZhuGeGiang having an Overseer already. And then we got like a super late battlecruiser rush, which honestly looked like it did pretty solidly with the Hellions on the floor. But then when the Mutas popped, like, Tiger just could not defend. And Replicant couldn't really help him either. No turrets in the mineral lines of his teammate. And Well, Tiger went for the hard counter. He went for the Phoenix, but Serral got on top of his Phoenix. And once that happens, it's really rough. And so there was basically, they were forced all in, and ZhuGeGiang was literally just powering roaches on 50 drones. Like, that is pretty scary. He had such a big roach clump. Did he even have upgrades? He did have +1 range with the burrow and the burrow move, so he could even regen in the fights. Like, that is a rough army to contest with. Really tempo focused, but it worked out for Serral and ZhuGeGiang. And hopefully we'll see something out of Replicant Tiger that can really abuse the fact that they are double Zerg in game number 2. And for game number 2, we load up into Arctic Flowers with Team Finland, now Team Blue, going up against Team uThermal Goblin Killer, the Slayers, as a Team Red. And Arctic Flowers is a map we don't see super often in 2v2. You have a big shared main, a big shared natural, and then you have 1/3 base that has like a gold as kind of the second base. And then you have a potential fourth, double base again, one entrance, and then another double base with a double entrance. So you kind of have to like take over this spot, maybe, to really defend both of these. So maybe you can take this one and this one if your opponents are focusing on air. So you have more, like less airspace. And then move forward, take control of this middle area, and then you could take the bottom 2 bases, or you could focus more on the left, do more of a ground control, defend here, and defend here and here. But we're gonna see how this map plays out. Zerg going for the double hatcheries once again, just standard Zerg openers, not going for early pools. I think it would have been a little better in this game to go for some early pool, early speed shenaniganry. But you kind of know that's not going to do super much. Maybe an early roach attack does something, where it forces especially the Terran to get some units that are actually useful. Because, like, who's going to get the defense against the roaches? Is it the Terran with, like, 2 bunkers? Or is it the Protoss that suddenly needs to get more gateways, get stalkers? Like, that Protoss player just wants to make a Stargate now, doesn't he? And that is an adaptation that I would like to see from Tiger here. Just go for the double Stargate play, get a lot of Phoenix, and kind of force Replicant to go like double bunker bio, and then double expand after that. Once you have the Phoenix up, you are getting a bunch of Overlord kills. You have identified the build that your opponents are doing. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a very similar build from ZhuGeGiang and Serral, Team Blue, or Team Finland, whatever you prefer. And Serral, not mining gas no more. ZhuGeGiang has 1 on gas, so Serral's actually a little bit more macro-focused right now. Not just going blindly into the 2-base meetup. Maybe that's because of the backdoor base that they had in game number 1 on Undercurrent. We see Stargate coming out from Tiger, and Serral did send across an Overlord, sees this one CC. We have ZhuGeGiang as well, going in for a little scouting action. Now, I mean, you just have to go in, no? These Marines are here, and there's probably more Marines coming out. And he does identify 1 gas, doesn't see the double gas. Ooh, the Zerglings get hit by the Zealot. I'm not sure about that Zealot, Tiger. Last game he made the Zealot and it didn't do much, but maybe sending across the Zealot is actually good in 2v2, forcing both Zergs to react. But speed is pretty soon to finish. ZhuGeGiang actually not finishing his speed, cancelling it. I don't know if he even started it. Starts a lair, starts a second gas, starts a Roach Warren. Interested to see if he goes for the extra gases or if he's just going for an early Roach build with a Roach speed. ZhuGeGiang and Serral both taking extra hatcheries. And a Tiger's Stargate has been found by Serral. They know that an Oracle is coming. Spores have been started. And I don't know, versus Zerg, it feels pretty rough to go for a proxy, because Zerglings have a pretty high chance of finding it, and then they're just going to shut it down. Because Overlords and Zerglings just roam the map. Look at these queens! Oh my god! That is not cool. These Oracles are super sad. I would have maybe even liked like a 3 or 2 Void Ray hit squad just to kill like some overlords, kill a gas, like force the queens to move around, and then you're safe from roach attacks early. And 2 more Stargates have been started up behind the natural of Tiger here. What is he going to do with those? I mean, it's probably going to be Phoenix, no? Double Marine drop coming out here for Replicant. Does he have the stim? No, he does not. It's just naked Marines with 1 mine as well. But how many queens do we have? We have 9 queens on the map. That's pretty strong. Queens can move pretty fast on creep. And it seems to be that ZhuGeGiang going for those roaches indeed, where Serral's staying more on the lings. He's okay with making a bunch of lings. He's finishing up his lair himself right now. And he might go for the Hydra den. Might go for either Ling Hydra Bane or go straight into Lurkers. We'll have to see what happens. +1 attack for the roaches is coming out as well for ZhuGeGiang. Let's look at the drone counts. Just chilling on 50-ish drones. Not too greedy like they would be in 1v1. Replicant going for a bio build here. Did not elect to go for a battlecruiser this time around. And does have this 1 Liberator. Could be pretty annoying. And Hydra range coming out for Serral. So he's going to make the Hydra Ling. ZhuGeGiang going to make the Roach Ravager. And they are going to have a pretty scary, big, just full ground force. That on these 2v2 maps, especially this one, doesn't seem super choked. So you can actually really abuse a giant air army. Tiger sending in 3 of his zealots. They don't have charge. And, oh, they do actually. Zerg units are just way faster. And now double Robo coming out for Tiger as well. Dude, he cancelled one of the Stargates. Did they? They scouted it with this Overseer. Oh, so they are going for the fumble here. They're going to bamboozle their opponents. How many Phoenix do we have? We have 1 Phoenix only. I'll be okay with just 1 Phoenix kind of patrolling around. Just to get rid of these Overseers. The corners. These Hellions try to take down some of the drones. They did get a couple drone kills, as you can see. 9 drone kills versus Serral. I would write that on my Circumvite, or what is it? CV. I killed 9 drones of Serral in a 2v2 match, but, you know, doesn't really matter. Immortals coming out for Tiger. Now, Immortals can do pretty well against ZhuGeGiang here, but if the Hydras of Serral wave dash on top, could get pretty dicey. Let's see, does Serral have a hive? No, he just starts it up. Infestation pit as well. Starts a lurker den. So he's going to go straight into the lurkers from his Hydras. A little bit of a more passive game, I would say. And Tiger's looking at a 4th base. 3rd base for Replicant has been established. It does seem that as soon as the Zergs kind of stabilize... Ooh, these Phoenix are not happy. As soon as the Zergs kind of stabilize, it's very scary for their opponents to move across the map. Because double Zerg creep spreading means that it's hard to take a good position. And then also, they can both kind of like use all their larvae to make a bunch of units. They can make a bunch of banelings. You have to deal with lurkers and ravagers and roaches and like... Maybe the one is going muta, or one has infestors, the other's getting vipers. Like, it's pretty scary in that sense. That it's hard to counter their composition, because it's just way more of a scary one. And here comes a pretty big force from Serral and ZhuGeGiang across the map. Blue team is determined to fight. Tiger tries to stand his ground, but he's alone. Replicant's not here to help him. And these Immortals are just getting overrun. Replicant comes in with a small force to try and deal with this, try and help. The rest of his units are now just coming in, but Tiger's force has already been demolished, and Team Blue just walking over their opponents just like that. Tiger does seem to have Storm, gets a decent Storm on top of the Hydras. The tanks now finally anchoring the fight, but 1 or 2 tanks should have been on this high ground at this 3rd to try and defend his ally as well. But Team Red not capable of defending all of their crucial areas, and Team Blue just sneaks in a giant army in there. And now the supplies just tell the tale. ZhuGeGiang is exploding when it comes to the supply because of all of his roaches, and now, I mean, I think Team Blue is just overrunning, and Team Red is coming to terms with the fact that they just got owned by best 1v1 player in the world, and perhaps it's also one of the best 2v2 players in the world. Who knows? For now, we know that they can take a 2-0 dub against the uThermal Goblin Slayers. So Serral and ZhuGeGiang have a pretty clear game plan here. It seems to be that they assign one player, for now it seems to be ZhuGeGiang, to just go for early roaches. Stay a little light on the drones early on. Go for the roach build. Get a core of roaches, maybe a couple ravagers, and stabilize them. And then Serral does a more tech-focused opener. Goes for the Hydras, goes for the Spire. This time around, he was okay making a couple links early on. Get that map control before the roaches were out. And they're kind of like switching back and forth. Like, okay, I make some units, you can make drones. Now you can make drones, I'll make some units. Now I'm going to tech, so you have to do something else. And then from there, they just kind of ping-pong back and forth. It's like two sine waves, and then they kind of like, it's a sine wave and a cosine wave, so they kind of always are powerful on the map because one of them is doing something to be strong in that moment. They kind of like rotate power spikes, which is pretty interesting. And as they are Zerg, they can probably also align those spikes if they need them, which they seem to be doing in this very attack, where they just walked up, and it was just like an immeasurable amount of Roach Hydra. Which, if you don't have like 4 disruptors right here firing at this ramp at that very moment, you might just go down. And Tiger was just going for crazy amounts of tech. He went for the double starport or Stargate, canceled one, went for the double robo, still went back for the storm, but also went for the robotics bay, all off of like 2.5 bases, honestly, because that third base was pretty late. So he was just investing in so much tech that this pure just like dudes army, like honestly, this is not a fancy army. It's just roaches, hydras, and some ravagers. The finesse of that army is coming later. The Vipers haven't been added. The Lurkers haven't been added. Like, we don't have all these fancy upgrades like the Hydra Wave Dash upgrade. Or do they get that with the Hydra speed, or do they have it natively? I actually don't know. Oh well, nonetheless, we see Serral and ZhuGeGiang are a 2v2 team that people have to take into account for hopefully the future of this 2v2 circuit, as they are wreaking havoc in this tournament so far, and they are moving on to the semifinals, where I think they face Clem Trigger. I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.